Hi guys, this is Miss Lollipop and welcome back to another video from me, or welcome to my channel if you are new. So in today's video, I am going to be showing you guys how to install GShade and also how to install my preset that I've made. The preset is called Radiance. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use GShade in general, how to use all the features that it gives you, how to take screenshots with GShade, and also how to be able to edit any presets that you install as well. Obviously, this doesn't just go for my own preset, this goes for other presets for GShade as well. So hopefully it's just a general helpful tutorial for you guys, as well as obviously you can go ahead and download the preset that I've made for you guys as well. If you guys do find this video helpful, remember to go ahead and leave a like on today's video, hit the subscribe button and ding the little notification bell next to it. That way you get notified every single time I upload, which means you never miss any of my uploads. And also remember to go ahead and follow me on my social medias right here, including my Twitch channel where I stream 4 times a week. I play Sims over there and I play a bunch of like Sims series in general on this channel. So go ahead and check those out as well if you guys enjoy the Sims and you guys like watching Sims content. Either way, I will let you guys go ahead and hop right into the video. I hope it's helpful, and as always, all the links to everything will be down in the description, so go ahead and grab those, and also leave any of your questions in the comment section and I'll get around to answering those. If you have any questions or any queries or you struggle with anything, let me know and I'll definitely go ahead and answer those. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video. So if you go ahead and look in the description below, there'll be a link to this Tumblr post that I've made. This is a whole Tumblr post about my Radiance reshade preset. It's got all the comparisons, so you can go ahead and have a look at the pictures of how it should look in your game afterwards. You know, EA lighting and then the Radiance preset. Obviously, it looks very pretty. I've got like a little brief description about what Radiance is and, you know, how it works. And then we've also got all the downloads that you're going to need for today's video. Okay, so first of all, we're going to go ahead and get everything downloaded. So your first link that we have is to the GShade download. So I'm going to go ahead and get that opened up. And this will just link you straight to the GShade website. You've got the Windows download, the Linux download, and the Mac download. So obviously, if you're playing on a Mac, you're going to go ahead and select the Mac version. I'm playing on a Windows, so I'm going to go ahead and select Windows. The Mac installer might not work the same as the Windows installer, so just like a little, you know, just a little disclaimer. And it should start downloading on the left hand side. If your antivirus, you know, blocks it or anything, go ahead and unblock it. I promise GShade is fine. It's on an official website and everything, so you're all good. Okay, so once we've downloaded GShade, we can come back to the Tumblr page, and as you can see, we have a link to the gameplay presets and the screenshot presets. So the gameplay presets are presets that you're going to mainly run when you're just playing through the game in general and you're not actually like, you know, taking screenshots of the game. You've got 2 different options. One is for fast computers and one is for slow computers. Now, if you don't know whether your computer would count as a fast computer or a slow computer, just go ahead and download both. You can test it in your own game and see which one runs better for you. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to install both, but you don't have to. But we're going to go ahead and click on both of these. They're going to link you to a mega share download. Just go ahead and press on the download in the bottom right hand corner. If you guys try and download this, because it is a .ini, for some reason every single time the computer thinks that it could be a file that will harm your computer. It can't. It says this about every single reshade preset, so you don't need to worry about it. You can just go ahead and click keep on both of these, and I'm also going to install the low end version of the preset as well, and I'm going to do the same and click download. Now, if we go back to the Tumblr page again, then we've also got the screenshot presets. So we've got a preset that's made for build screenshots. So this will be for like houses or apartments or whatever, you know, when you're taking screenshots of inside your house or whatever. So both of these screenshot presets, they're not suitable for gameplay. They're too difficult for your computer to run for them to be used for gameplay. So don't try to use them for gameplay. They're purely just for taking screenshots. But we're going to go ahead and install the build one. And there's also a Sims screenshot. So this is made for if you take a lot of pictures of your Sims in game. This one is the better preset for Sim screenshots. And as I said, you can literally install all of these presets and you can remove the ones that you don't want later on or the ones that you don't use, whatever it is. But for the time being, you might be best just installing all of them and testing which ones you like. Okay, so I'm going to install the build screenshots. Again, go ahead and click the download button, and the same for the Sims screenshot preset. When you download these will go straight to your downloads folder. These should be the files that we have. I'm going to go ahead and pull them onto our desktop just so we can see. So the files that we should have installed is the GShade latest installer, which is just right here. This is actually to install the program. You also should have downloaded at least 1 preset. In my case, I've downloaded all 4, so I can go ahead and show you them, which you can also download all 4 if you want to as well. Right, so first things first, let's go ahead and actually install GShade. So go ahead and get this loaded, double click on it, and it should come up with this, and you can go ahead and click on more info and then click run anyway. And then we have a little pop-up here where I need to accept it. And then please select your language. Obviously, you can go ahead and select whatever language for you. I'm going to select English. And then it's just got the terms and conditions. Click agree. And then now this is where you want to select the game that you want to use GShade on. So this is where you're actually going to go and find your Sims game. So what we're going to go ahead and do is click on this little start button down here, and we're going to type in The Sims 4. Now for me, luckily it comes up as the best match, so it should just come up here. This is for obviously Windows as well. Go ahead and click on Open File Location. And this should open up like a little shortcut to where The Sims is. Now, this is not where The Sims is actually installed. This is just where the shortcut is for your computer. The Sims 4 is highlighted. Go ahead and right click on it and click Open File Location. Now, this should link you straight to where your Sims is installed. So normally most people's Sims is installed on their C drive. It's in their programs files, Origin Games, The Sims 4 game, and bin. So this is where you can find your Sims. Now, obviously, if you've installed Sims to a different drive on your computer or anything like that, you might have a different location, but it doesn't matter. This is the main location. You also might have, instead of it being in the bin section, you might also have Sims installed in the bin.le, which is this version just here. This is for a 32-bit version of the game, which is like a non-updated version of the game. So if you've got an older computer, but you can still follow the tutorial because the GShade still works. So if you're in this folder instead, the bin.le, there's no difference. Now we're going to go up here to the top, and as you can see, when I click on it, when I left mouse on it, it actually highlights everything, and then I can go ahead and right click on it and click copy. And then if I go back to the GShade installer, I can then go ahead and click browse, and up here I can go ahead and click on this, and you can see that I left click and it highlights again. Go ahead and delete that and click Control V or right click and click paste, and it should paste the exact location that we just was at. So now I go ahead and click it, and as you can see, we're in the exact same folder that we just found our Sims game. So this way you shouldn't get confused about where your Sims game is installed. It should lead you right to it, hopefully. So then we go ahead and click on the Sims 4.x64. This is the actual game, how you run the game. And then we can go ahead and click open. Now GShade officially knows where to install GShade for the Sims 4. So we can go ahead and click on the next button. So this section is grayed out, so go ahead and just leave this to it. You might have 64, you might have 32, depending on if you had the bin.le or you had the original bin. Doesn't matter, just leave it with whatever it's automatically selected as. If this isn't currently selected, make sure you go ahead and select DirectX 9. It should automatically select for you, but if it doesn't, make sure you go ahead and select DirectX 9. Don't click any of the others. Then scroll down. Our hooking mode should just be normal. Go ahead and select that if it's not currently selected and leave everything else. In the optional section, I have everything turned on, so back up my settings and presets, convert existing presets. If you guys had Reshade installed previously, this will actually convert all your existing presets to GShade, which is great. So if you guys have got any Reshade presets that you want to use in GShade, you can go ahead and use this. Install desktop update reminder, which obviously you want, and also install the desktop shortcut. And then everything down here, you just don't want to select because this is all for the Final Fantasy game, which obviously we're not using that. We're running the Sims 4, so that should be it. So just make sure your tick boxes are the same as mine as shown here, and then go ahead and click install. Go ahead and click on the next button. And now it is asking where you want your screenshots to be saved. So if you take any screenshots in GShade that have your GShade applied, you might want them set to a custom folder. So you can just leave this if you want to. It's already selected your pictures folder on your computer, but you can go ahead and click browse, and I've actually got a custom folder set up. So I've got it on a separate drive, because obviously I have a lot of Sims photos that I take for, like, you know, thumbnails and things like that. So I have a Sims 4 images folder, and I can go ahead and select that. And then now all of my screenshots will save to a folder. Now you can just leave it whatever you want, but I would recommend making a specific folder where you want all your Sims screenshots to go. All right, once you're done with that, go ahead and click finish. And it says the folder for your screenshots was successfully set. Do you want to open the GShade visual guide? Go ahead and select no, we don't want that. Okay, so that is it. You can go ahead and actually delete the GShade latest installer now. You don't need that. You don't need your installer because we've now officially installed GShade. And you now also should have a little shortcut on your computer where you can actually open up the control panel. And this is where you can actually see if there's any updates available for GShade. And also, if you click on installations, you should be able to see that it's now installed into The Sims 4. Next up, we want to go ahead and get our presets set up into GShade so that we can actually see them in game. We need to go back to the same place where the Sims 4 was located, which we've already done a second ago. But just to be sure, we're going to go to the start folder. We're going to type in the Sims 4. And again, it shows up the Sims 4. And we can go ahead and click open file location. It highlights it for us in this folder, but this is just a shortcut. It's not actually the game. So we're going to go ahead and right click on that again and click open file location, and it should bring us back to this original folder. There are now 2 more folders in our games folder. There is GShade presets and GShade shaders. So you never really want to touch GShade shaders. That's not anything to do with us. GShade automatically touches that. The only thing we care about is GShade presets. Now go ahead and get that loaded up, and then go ahead and click on the custom folder. And as you can see, you should have 1 preset as default, which is off, which is no preset. So what you need to go ahead and do is the presets that we downloaded earlier, you want to go ahead and grab them and move them into this folder so that we can use them. So just go ahead and drag them wherever you had them installed. They might be in your downloads folder. Obviously, I got mine out of my downloads folder and got it onto my desktop. So we're going to go ahead and just drag these in and move to the custom folder. And as you can see now, they are now all in here ready to be used. And now we can go ahead and start up the game and have a look at how they look in game. Now go ahead and just load up your Sims game as normal. Just go ahead and select wherever you would normally select to load up your Sims game, and GShade will automatically load up as you're loading the Sims. Right, so when you start up the game, you're going to see a little pop-up up here, and it's now going to say GShade is now installed successfully. So for now, whilst the game is loading, just leave it to do its thing, okay? Just leave it until you actually get to the main screen. So the first time you load up Sims after GShade is installed, it's going to take a longer time than it normally would. Just go ahead and be patient and wait. Trust me, it will load eventually. On some people's computers, it can take minutes. On mine, it takes about a minute or so, maybe even 2. So just give it a second, okay? Now we are in game, and we can still see that this little GShade pop-up is still here. Now, we can actually go ahead and open up our pop-up, Shift F2. Now, yours might be slightly different depending on what GShade version you installed and also what keyboard you have as well. So whatever it says press that. Now, obviously on my computer, it's showing Shift F2. So I'm going to go ahead and press that on my keyboard. You can go ahead and click skip the tutorial because I'm going to give you a tutorial, so you won't be needing that bit. So go ahead and click skip tutorial, and then we are going to go ahead and jump right in. So first things first, before we set any presets, we're going to go into the settings menu and get everything set up. The first thing is the overlay key. So the first key that we press to open up GShade, personally, I like having my key set to home. This is the overlay key, so this is actually what you'll press to open up GShade. You can go ahead and click backspace to delete it, and you can set a new key. I always have mine set to home on my keyboard. That's just what I prefer, so you can go ahead and get that set up too. I go ahead and change this one, which is just shader toggle key. This is when you want to turn the shader off and turn it back on, which it completely turns GShade off. Go ahead and click backspace on this, and I have this set to a random key. It's called OEM with like a little weird symbol. But again, you can have that set to whatever you want. If you never want to close down GShade, then you won't need that. But I personally quite like having it to show people the difference between my preset and nothing in game, you know? Okay, and then if we scroll down from here, we want to go ahead and have a look at the screenshots option. Just ignore everything else from now on, because to be honest, we don't really care about any of this stuff. It's mainly this section here. So now we've got the screenshot key set to Shift and number pad plus, but I don't have mine set to that. So I'm going to go ahead and click backspace on that to delete it. I'm going to go ahead and click the print screen button on my keyboard, and now it is set to print screen. We should have already set our screenshot path, but if you guys didn't, you can go ahead and click on these 3 little dots and you can go ahead and browse through your computer to set it, but you should already have that set. And I also quite like having show screenshot message on. It means that when I actually do take a screenshot in game, it displays a little message, which I'll show you later on, but I would recommend turning this one on as well. I'd recommend it. And other than that, you don't need to touch anything else in here. And all of these random things, don't even worry about them. Don't be overwhelmed by them. We're not interested in any of this stuff, okay? We only care about the settings page and the home page, which is our main one. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get us loaded into a game before I go ahead and turn any presets on, just so we get a good idea of how it actually affects the game, so we get like a good, you know, impression. So let me just go ahead and load up one of my saves, and we can go ahead and take a look at everything. Okay, so we are in game, and as you can see, it shouldn't look any different to your game before you install GShade. Nothing should look different. It should just be looking exactly the same. But we can go ahead and click on that button In my case, it's the home button that will load up GShade. In your case, if you didn't change the overlay key in the settings, then it should still be Shift F2, whatever it's set as default. But go ahead and click on the home section. And right up here, you can currently see it says off. Go ahead and click on this. And now it will load you to the GShade presets folder. We can go ahead and click on here and click custom. Now you should see any of the presets that you install into your game. We have the gameplay for high-end computers preset. We have the gameplay low-end preset. We also have the build screenshots preset and the Sims screenshots preset. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and have a look at the high-end computer preset. Go ahead and get that selected and just give it a second and it should load. This is what the game looks like with this GShade preset installed for high-end computers. When you go ahead and load this preset up, you might get an error like I do. It gives you like a little yellow overlay on here, almost as if it's not working. Just go ahead down to the bottom of this page and click reload. And when it reloads, it should be fine. For some reason, GShade can do that sometimes. Most of the time it doesn't, but just don't fret over it. It's nothing bad. Everything for your preset should look exactly the same if you're using the gameplay high-end preset like this. Again, you will only use this preset if you've got a good computer. Now, you can see a little MXAO toggle, which is just here. If I go ahead and turn it off, you can see in-game, it adds shadows. So when I turn it on, when I turn it off, you lose shadows. And then when I turn it back on, you gain shadows, you know? And personally, I really, really love a nice, like, shadowed game. I think it looks much better than the original game. But for this to work properly, you do have to turn it off. Your options on your actual game, go ahead and click on options and click game options. You do have to turn off edge smoothing. This is very important for MXAO to work properly. You need to go ahead and get this turned off for it to work. You also need to make sure you have post-processing effects on as well for this to work. So make sure you've got this little button ticked, and then that way everything should be working properly. It's just a plug and play type of thing. Now you've got a preset that's working, you know, great. You can go ahead and play in-game as normal. Obviously, if you have a slower computer, this preset will make your game run slightly slower. If you've got a good computer and it's a faster computer, it shouldn't really affect your computer much at all. But as you can see, on my computer, it's pretty damn smooth still. Should be relatively fine as long as your computer's fast. We're going to go ahead and have a look at the low-end version. Now, as I said, if you're not sure whether your computer's high-end or low-end, just install both and you can go ahead and try either of them out. Go ahead and select the little preset at the top and then go ahead and click the low-end version and go ahead and select that. So this is exactly the same as the original preset, except it has MXAO turned off. So the shadows, it has no shadows, and it also doesn't have SMAA on, which is edge smoothing. If you want to go ahead and run this preset instead, it should be more lightweight, it should be easier to run on slower computers, and it means that you can also have your edge smoothing turned on in game. You can go ahead and turn this on to whatever you would normally have it on, and then that way you won't get a bunch of jagged lines. You see up here, some of the lines are a little bit jagged and like they're not really smooth around the edge. That's what edge smoothing does. It makes everything, you know, not look as like sharp. There we go. And I went ahead and made it day so that we can actually see the presets a little bit more. So if you want to see the difference between the high-end version and the low-end version, this version is the low end and this version is the high end. So you can see that there's literally no difference other than the shadows and a little bit of edge smoothing between the two. So if your computer can't run the high end version, it's not the end of the world. Now we're going to go ahead and have a look at the two screenshot presets. Now you only need to install these if you take screenshots in game. So if you take screenshots of your build, for example, when I'm sitting out here, you know, and I want to take a screenshot of this house, I would use the build screenshot. Now if I go in the house and I want to take a picture of a sim, I would use the SIMS screenshot, you know. First things first, let's go ahead and get ourselves lined up onto the house. Go ahead and click on the overlay button, and now we can select the build screenshot button. So give it a second because it needs to load everything in. You can see that it goes super blurry for a second, and then it should start to load things in properly. If I go closer to the house, it's going to add a really nice like fuzzy area around the back. You see this? So the house is currently in view and the background is not. You can see all of this is all nice and blurry. It's almost like you take it on an actual camera in real life. This is actually what I just showed you is the tab camera. So you can go ahead and press tab on your keyboard and it should bring up this. To move up and down, it's Q and E on your keyboard. So you can just move up and down, and to move around is your mouse like this. So you can go ahead and get yourselves like situated, get a pretty picture of the house, whatever else. And then now you might want to go ahead and take your screenshot. So you remember earlier when we was in the settings page and we was selecting our screenshot key, I set mine to print screen. So I'm going to go ahead and select the print screen button. and there's a little like sound that plays, and also you can see in the very top it says screenshot save. Let me go ahead and press it again. You can see screenshot saved successfully, so you know that the game did take a screenshot as it should. All right, so to go ahead and turn the build preset off, we just go back into the home section and we can just go click here, and now we are going to turn on the Sims screenshot option. So go ahead and select that one. Now this preset is made to actually take screenshots of Sims. So I'm going to quickly go inside the house. Now it's not the best lighting in here, I'm not going to lie. Okay, have we got anybody? Everybody's asleep in the house, so it's like it's a little weird. Let's go and get a cute little picture of our Sims sleeping in bed. By the way, they actually look really cute. And it should automatically focus on your Sims, so you can see around the edges around here. It should be nice and blurry, and on our Sims they're in focus. Even his nip's in focus. Everything's in focus. You can see all the Sims and everything around them is blurry, which is exactly how it should be working. And that is the Sims screenshot preset. That's pretty much all you really need to know. I have specifically, oh, you can see that sometimes when you zoom out, this is why this preset is not made for gameplay, because when you move around, it's like way too blurry for you to actually play the game. That's the reason that this is only made to be used when taking actual pictures of your Sims or builds, whatever. In my own game, if you guys see my streams or my YouTube videos, I always run the gameplay high-end version. So if you guys are wondering which one I use on my streams, it is this version right here. I have no issues running the GShade preset. It is absolutely fine, and I personally love it. Maybe I'm biased because it's mine, but you know. Anyways, it looks really nice in game, and you know, it adds a lot of like nice shadows, adds a lot of depth to the game, but also really brightens it up. As you can see, this is what the game looks like without it, and this is what the game looks like with. Go ahead and turn the preset off. You can see it's like flat, the edges are jagged, it's just ugly and bland. And then you turn it back on and it's nice and bright and colorful, and it adds more shadows. It's very pretty. Love, love, love. Yeah, that is pretty much everything that you should need to know. I literally made these 4 presets just so they're the type of thing that you just select and you just plug and play, and you can just load them up in your game and use whatever one you want, you know. The low end one if you've got a slower computer, the high end one if you've got a better computer, or any of the screenshot versions, and they're just the type of thing that you just select, and then you can just go for it, you know. Now, if you guys aren't going to go through and edit anything, because obviously you can actually install presets and just go through and take things away if you want to, just by clicking them. If you're not going to touch anything and you just want to switch between presets, which is exactly what I do, go ahead and turn on performance mode, and this should make it so that GShade runs slightly better. It's not going to affect the way that your game looks or anything, but just go ahead and select this. As you can see, MXAO has gone yellow again. Remember, just go ahead and click reload down here and it should reload this, and you should be good. The only thing that I do want to cover is, you guys might see as I'm moving around, you see behind the UI, you can actually see the shadows and it makes the UI transparent. This is one of the downside of using MXAO in your game. You don't want this thing where UIs go transparent. If that bothers you too much, then go ahead and use the low end version of the preset, and it takes away the shadows, which will take away the, you know, the transparent UI. But as long as you don't mind that, if you prefer your game in general to look better and, you know, not be affected by the transparent UI, then just go ahead and use the high version. But just go ahead and test out any of the presets that you guys like. So that should be everything. I think I've covered everything that I need to. Hopefully the tutorial was helpful. I hope I explained everything well. So I hope that tutorial was helpful for you guys, and I hope you managed to go ahead and get everything installed. And I also really, really hope you guys enjoy my preset. I worked really, really hard on it. If you do have any questions with today's video or anything in GShade or my preset in general, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I'll definitely get around to answering those. And if you guys did enjoy today's tutorial, remember to go ahead and leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and ding the notification bell next to it. You'll get notified every single time I upload, which means you never miss any of my videos on my channel. And remember to go ahead and follow me on my social medias, especially my Twitch channel, where I stream Sims 4 times a week, and you can go ahead and watch me play Sims live and come and join in with the family. I hope everything was helpful, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So I will see you all in my very next video. Bye guys.